Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Now available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
All right, the Steve Austin Show is brought to you free today by our friends at BetOnline. The drive to March has begun for college basketball's elite, and the NBA contenders are separating themselves from the pretenders. Plus, Wilder versus Fury this Saturday. Get in the mix at betonline.ag and use the promo code PodcastOne for your 50% welcome bonus. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts and exclusive partner of PodcastOne Sportsnet.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the main streets of Los Angeles, California today. Man, what a day. Today is Sunday afternoon as I turn in this podcast to my producer, Sean, to put this show together. I have a great conversation today with RVD, Rob Van Dam, my old peer, my old buddy from our WWF days. And, of course, he spent so much time down there in ECW and is one of the hardcore legends and one of the very, very innovative professional wrestlers of our time. He stops by, we shoot the breeze and have a lot of fun talking about some of his dealings with CTE, some very serious stuff. Talk about his stand-up comedy stuff that he's doing and some of his endeavors still in the ring and some of his travels across the road as they were making this new documentary that he's coming out with. I guess they filmed it a little while back. It's called Headstrong. So hopefully you enjoy the podcast with myself and RVD, Rob Van Dam. Man, I was trying to watch the Daytona 500 today, and they called off the race because it was raining down there in Daytona, Florida. I always try to watch as many NASCAR races as I can. I always like to watch Daytona just because it's kind of an epic event. And it was real interesting getting to talk to two-time winner Dale Earnhardt Jr. This past year on my show on the USA Network, Straight Up Steve Austin. So Dale was starting that race off, waving the green flag. Sheamus was driving a pace car. It was interesting to see him down there trying to interview some drivers before the race. So they're going to kick the race off tomorrow. We'll find out who the winner's going to be. And, hell, I got the WWE Network fired up on my iPhone right here beside me, watching NXT TakeOver. And they just started a hell of a match with Johnny Gargano. And who's he taking on? I can't watch my screen right now. I'm trying to do the open of this podcast. But anyway, I'm going to keep this open short. Please enjoy the show. Myself and RVD kicking it and talking about his new documentary, Headstrong. Got some cool guests coming into town this week from the FMX and freestyle motocross world. Brian Deegan's coming by in a couple of days. Lane Johnson of the Philadelphia Eagles is coming by. But check out this show with Rob and stay tuned. I'm going to stop rambling. Let's kick this thing off. See ya. Sitting here at the Broken Skull studio with Rob Van Dam, RVD.
Yes,
and
RVD.
It's lovely. Are y'all married? Fiance?
She's my spiritual wife.
Spiritual wife.
Yes.
Katie
Forbes.
Hey, I'm great. Thank you.
RVD, come in here.
Yeah,
nice to see you on my side of town.
This looks so awesome here.
Yeah.
Let me see, what is it? My physical vibrations? How do you put my spiritual vibrations are running high because you always got to have this glow of happiness about you.
Awesome. Glad to bring it.
You always got to put out a good vibe.
Yeah.
You've never been a downer to me. You've always kind of been a guy who, I mean, you might have a bad day or something, but
but people usually don't notice.
It's positive.
That's awesome. I'm glad to represent that. Absolutely.
Man, I got a text message from you. You said, hey, man, because we've been trying to hook up to a podcast for a while.
Yeah.
And I missed that window when you came through. And then you said, hey, man, I got a documentary that was made, and the documentary is called Headstrong. And you cover a whole lot of stuff, a couple things in this doc. But, I mean, you talk about, your concussions, you're doing stand-up, you're going out on tour, you're still working a match here or there. But what did you want to? What was the message you wanted to get out when you decided to come out with this doc? Because you're kind of a private guy.
Yeah. So at first, I just thought because I was so hands-on in the making of it, like frame by frame editing, me and Joe Clark doing everything. I thought, it turned out really good, very, very personal. But I like being known for being genuine because, it's a quality I like to hear about myself, I guess. And so, at first it was going to be about one thing, which was going to be a comedy tour, but I had concussion symptoms that wouldn't go away. So they eventually became the biggest thing going on in my life because I had double vision. Like I've had hundreds of concussions, and I've never had symptoms last more than like maybe overnight, maybe one day, very, very few. Usually it's a couple seconds that shake it off. Sometimes it's like Balls Mahoney would hit me with a chair, crack. Sometimes it would be like everything's like in slow motion, or sometimes the sound goes out. Sometimes, everything's like spinning, and I had double vision, but I just couldn't shake it off. And I kept thinking, well, it'll be gone tomorrow, and so I'm not going to let that. I'm not even going to let anybody know. The show must go on. Right? But I ended up coming back and getting my brain looked at, MRI. I had 4 doctors look at the MRIs besides CAT scans, and I was in visual therapy for a while, a long time, I think till I moved out of here, and my vision still isn't the same as it was before. I mean, I'm normal by tests, but I can turn my head a certain way, and you can split like into two, and I don't remember it being like that before. But
what did they say about your brain when they did those scans?
Well, there was no sign of any kind of irregulatory anything. No dark areas, no inflammation.
Can they see that on a scan, or do they have to wait? Because I know you donated your brain in 2007.
Yeah.
So whenever you pass on, and hopefully that's not for a long time, your brain will go to science and your spinal cord.
That's what I want. Yeah.
They will research
what's left of my spinal cord.
And when we're laughing, we're just laughing between us because it's funny, but it's a serious subject.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. So, at first I just thought, hey, this ended up being a really cool movie. I think when you watch a documentary about a person, you should learn a lot about them, a lot more than you knew before. So I wanted it to I want people to see it, but then when people started hitting me back with how it inspired them to get through different troubled times and stuff, I was like, for real? One guy said, dude, it changed my life. I'm like, come on, how did it change your life? We were at a bar, and he says, well, because, man, there was something I wanted to do. I wanted to go for this job, and then I watched your movie, and I said, if RVD can overcome all this and still be the whole effing show, then I can go for it. And I applied for the job, and I got it. And I was just like, I would never guess that would happen from watching my movie. But I talk a lot about concussions, and that's where it gets really personal. I'm showing my brain scans on the movie, and the camera's right there with me, so I don't know what the damage report's going to be while we're filming this, so you actually get to go through the ride, with me. But I ended up afterwards really caring a lot about just concussion awareness because I feel like I got lucky, but almost all of my peers tell me that they have, they say CTE, but they use that term too loosely. I know I got CTE because blah, blah, blah. But they probably have long-term concussion damage, like almost all of my friends, your friends too.
Okay, but when you say your peers, who those guys be? Are you talking to many of your fellow wrestlers in the ECW territory or throughout the WWE as well?
That's a damn good question. The guys that pop in my mind are ECW guys.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of highlights or footage, from your days in ECW.
Yeah.
And, we were throwing some chairs, in WWE.
You're
back
in the movie,
day.
dude.
Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I took care of you on that chair shot because following is that chair shot by Balls, and man, he blasted you.
Yeah.
But
I thought that was just part of the job back then. You know what I mean? I didn't know what CTE was or long-term concussion damage. I thought I was proving how tough I was by being able to take that every night, and I just thought being loopy for a second was part of that.
Man, what are you thinking when you? Because I got blasted with my shared chairs, but man, I was one of those hands-up guys. Get a lot of guys lead just crown first, dome first, or whatever, and just give it. Mm-hmm. And those guys were swinging them chairs back in the day. And you said in the documentary you took pride in the kind of chair shot you could take, whereas Balls took pride in the chair shot that he could give.
Yeah.
Man, he's giving a lot. You're taking it, but god dang, you're the one that's suffering from the damage.
Yeah, crazy.
What's your mindset on that? I mean, how come you never were a hands-up guy?
As an artist.
Was it the machismo thing?
Yeah, I guess so, because,
I mean, the name of the doc is Headstrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I got trained, to really believe in it, really believe in the moment, you know what I mean? And so I'd like to think that's, reflected in my work, and so that's part of it. I think, that I still believe in what I'm doing when I'm out there, you know what I mean? That's what it is. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anyone else to do it. And by the way, when I first got to WWE, one time I was coming through Gorilla, and Vince McMahon said, when you take those chair shots, he said, you put your hands up. And I was like, no, that's cool. That's everybody else, Vince. He said, no, you listen to me. You put your hands up. I go, but I do this all the time. I go, and this is the only, the only time he ever had any this kind of said anything remotely like this. But he goes, now listen, I'm your father. I'm telling you, put your hands up. And then it finally got through. And I was like, well, he's all right. He's the boss. He's paying me to put my hands up. I think I can do that. And that was probably after I'd been there and went through the hardcore title era and the ECW era. I might have been there a minute. I don't know. But I'm just saying, he did say that, Vince, in his defense, like right off the bat, and I was stubborn. But it did affect me, though. I don't know if I did it every time afterwards, but I remember, thinking I probably should.
When you got to WWF back in the day, were you restricted any from what you used to do in ECW? Because it just seemed to me like, man, you could go there and do almost anything you wanted, but when you got to WWF, and it was almost still the Wild Wild West days. When you came in, it was still pretty much Wild Wild West before the micromanagement really came in. But did you have to tone your act down when you got to WWF?
Well, definitely, because we had no boundaries, with ECW, we could dive out to the crowd, set the fans on fire.
Almost sprayed RVD with zero Coke.
All kinds of stuff would happen, and there's no way that you could do that on a large scale. But what the biggest difference, I think, as an artist or as a worker that a lot of people probably wouldn't expect was like with ECW, I never ever had a time limit. So I never thought about that. I had the freedom to really be in the moment and soak in, the reaction of the crowd or whatever and milk it. And then with WWE, it was all about the time. It's all about the time. Like, that it's going to take you 45 seconds to get down to the ring. And then this is, when you're on commercial break, you got 40 seconds, you're coming back, you got 2 minutes, it's all about time. So that's a big difference to get stuff in, and, it doesn't really fit in with a lot of that kind of a match or a show.
Man, I was watching some of your dives off and the stuff where you would end up in the crowd, and, some of the legs you would drop where there's a guy hanging over a barricade or apron or whatever the setup was, and through tables. I mean, were you thinking at all about your future?
I think I was in the moment.
Because I know you do. You got trained by
Sabu
and
the Sheik. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I know Sheik had to tell you got a bump card because he's old school.
But he never even taught me the right way to bump or to slam.
He never bumped.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a scary guy.
Yeah. But he also never taught me he never once said it's a work. Never said, here's how you hit a guy and take care of him, or, you know what I mean? Every time he would be in the ring, he'd be half shooting because he would choke us and stretch us, pull our arms, put us in arm bars and pressure on our elbows and just, jerk us around and control us. And then he would have us do that to each other. And we knew, we had common sense. And we play wrestled for years and stuff, so we had that advantage. But he never, once was like, when you try and catch somebody right here so you don't kick their teeth out. You know what I mean? That was all experience, through the indies, learning all that.
Man, I had a guy that was over here a couple of weeks ago. He was more of a deathmatch wrestler, but he can work scientific, and he has a little bit of European background. And so the deathmatch stuff is kind of its own separate genre. And the stuff that you were doing was wrestling, and it wasn't deathmatch, but it was high risk. So the question I'm asking, I guess, is how would you define your style of wrestling?
Extreme. Yeah. That's why I think I fit with ECW so good, because I found that everyone found different ways to be extreme. You know what I mean? And
okay.
Yeah. And then my way ended up being the whole effing show.
I mean, well, yeah, to that point, maybe a little bit of everything, because I mean, dude, there was acrobatics, there was some high flying, I mean, there was high impact. I mean, whatever it was high. No pun intended.
For sure. Yeah.
And look at you, untangling that bunch of wires like Clark Griswold. Come on, man. It's a wireless world, and everyone needs a great pair of wireless earbuds. But before you go spending hundreds of dollars on a pair, you need to check out the wireless earbuds from Raycon. Raycon earbuds start at about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and they sound just as amazing as other top audio brands you know. And Raycon's latest model, E25, is their best one yet, with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise-isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds have gel tips for comfortable, perfectly formed fit, great for on-the-go listening and for taking phone calls. Don't stop the podcast just because you're getting out of the car. Let Raycon help take the show with you. Unlike some of your other wireless options, Raycon earbuds are both stylish and discreet with no dangling wires or stems. I've checked out the Raycon earbuds and I dig them. Pick up a pair and see what all the hype is about. Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon. Get 15% off your order at buyraycon.com/Austin. That's buyraycon.com/Austin for 15% off Raycon wireless earbuds. Buyraycon.com/Austin. When you look back at your body of work, or if you could go back in a magic time machine, would you change anything?
I would have slowed down that night going through Ohio with the 18 grams of weed in my bag.
What happened?
I was speeding, dude. I was so careless back then. Like, I've grown up so much since then that when I think about when I worked with you guys, I feel like it was a perspective of a kid, really. Like, I feel like I really had to go through some real life emotion before my whole perspective changed. And it's weird because I just feel, I used to be so careless, dude, but so I didn't even know there was speed limits. You know what I mean? I would just go as fast as I wanted. I'd be smoking, and I wouldn't even have like any kind of like Ozium or anything. I just like didn't care. I was stupid. So one time Nick Patrick was driving, and me and Booker T were in the car with him, and my bag was a little bit moist that I had of buds, so I set it up on the dash because the way the sun was coming through, it was hitting it. And Nick was like, Rob, is there somewhere else you might want to put that? And I was just like, no, dude, that's the perfect spot. See the way the sun's hitting it right there? It'll be good in like 30 minutes. Like, I totally didn't understand like how, I don't know, how first rude I was being to Nick, because he was probably scared, you know, coming from Georgia. He was probably like, fuck, man, if a cop pulls me over. And I never really had that perspective, even though I got busted several times.
Man, I was a guy that was on, when I was going on hunting trips or traveling back and forth to Texas, you know, making that long 1,500-mile drive, man, I'd put a ham and cheese sandwich that was wrapped in foil in the dash to heat it up. What were you trying to dry out? Stuff?
Yeah.
So what happened with 18 grams? Did you get popped for that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The reason that it made such big news was because I had the WWE championship at the time and the ECW championship, so there was a lot riding on me, you know, at the moment, because ECW would just come back as a third brand and trying to get momentum, and I'm the champion. And, you know, for everybody that says how much I was held back and how wrong that was for my career, first off, I gave them plenty of chances to not want to put me for the the forward foot, and plenty of warnings that I would fuck it up. And then when I finally did get the championship, I fucked it up.
Did they come down on you?
I got suspended for 30 days. I dropped, both the championships. And I don't know if I was fined on top of that or not, But I was pretty much like in my own... I'm always in my own world. But at the end of the 30 days, I called Paul and I asked him if he would ask Vince if I could have some more time off. And he said, I'm not going to ask him that. He'll be offended because it's supposed to be a punishment. But I was enjoying being home because I was so burnt out,
Yeah, at one point in the documentary, you talked about how burnt out you were. When did you hit your worst? Because I've been there. I think everybody has to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I just, I don't know. I feel like, how if you're going to be with these people 200 or 250 days a year, they have to really be your family, and then you don't know your family at home. I don't think, even when I was in a really crappy marriage, I still don't feel like I was in that position. Like I would look around the dressing room, and be like, man, I can't wait to get away from a lot of these people. Not everybody, but I mean, I was, the whole mentality that it's just a different world,
When the marriage went south, was it because you were away from home too much?
Well, the way that I look at it now, like from the beginning, always like it was never like real happiness, you know what I mean? And I didn't know that like till actually I met Katie, and like honestly, like our relationship like is just so amazing. Like all the time, like we're happy, and I'm just like I can't believe I thought I was happy when really I was just content. Because from the beginning, like we would fight over the stupidest things. Because she was the most insecure woman, and so many fights would just be like, "Oh, you like that?" She thinks I looked at a girl that oh my God, that would make me so mad because I was faithful. I wanted to respect that about myself, so I went the whole time, giving it all I got so I could respect myself. And honestly, Katie knows that about me, and if I hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have been able to snag Katie, you know what I mean?
Hey, where'd you guys meet?
Yeah, we met at WrestleCon in Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas?
In Dallas, yes, sir. WrestleMania was in Dallas, Texas that one year, and we were both signing at WrestleCon, and she was wrestling for Luke Hawks in New Orleans. What is it called? Wildcats. Yeah. And, he introduced us, and she gave me her number, and ended up being right at the bottom of the hill that I used to live at. A few days later, she sent me a picture. Like, are you stalking me? I hope so. But what was cool though, we ended up going out like a lunch date or something, afternoon for the first time, somewhere in Redondo Beach, and that was at a point in my life, where I was really down, and all I did was tell her why she should run the other way. How fucked I was. You know what I mean? Like. And afterwards, after we had food or whatever, I said, look, I got to go do this podcast. You're welcome to come with me if you're having fun, or I can drop you off. And I said, if you're having fun and you want to go through the podcast, we can do something afterwards. It's up to you. You're the boss. And she said that she thought that I wasn't interested in her at all, and she was going to say to take her home. And then my phone lit up, and I had her as the screensaver.
Yeah, that was sweet.
A hot picture that she had sent me that was just really beautiful. That
you rascal, you.
Yeah, yeah. So
was it love at first sight, Katie?
Yeah.
So how long have you been together now?
4 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you wrestling currently?
Yeah.
Who are you wrestling for?
Impact.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh man, see that's the wrestling program that I don't know what channel it's on, but it's still doing well. How do I watch that?
It's on Access TV.
Yeah, Access. Okay, yeah.
And I love it because right now I'm his manager too.
How's that going?
It's fun.
It is. It's so fun. It's like, honestly, like the universe really, we talked a lot about, dude, so many people, by the way, last time I was on your show afterwards said that they got, they got so much out of our interview with me talking about energy and frequencies and everything that it really helped, them in a positive way. But
what is your persona as his manager, Katie?
Like a nympho.
That's never been done before.
Katie likes to dress scantily, and she likes to twerk and stuff like that. I was just gonna say that the universe has been bent towards me to try to keep me in wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I can't really ask for a better schedule than a couple of days a month, which is mostly what I do with them. And I really like the deal that I have, and then now they have Katie going with me too. So it's not even like we have to be apart, and it's like best case scenario, and it's really making work like fun again for the first time in a long time. Yeah. Well, and I'm a heel. I turned heel recently, so that's a big deal because, yeah. So,
dude, how many times have you worked heel?
I don't know, but it's, I don't know, like in ECW, when I came in, I was a heel because ECW was heel to WWE in the Alliance, right? We were all
right.
There was like that, and in ECW, I came in as a heel because everyone loved Sabu, and we had a feud. And then I turned heel when I was Mr. Monday Night wrestling on WWE. I was a heel on both cards because they both thought I sold out and worked for the other company. So a few times, but this one's fun though. I mean, it was fun before though. It's fun to be able to say some things, that I might just think, otherwise as a baby face to the fans, call them out on stuff.
How are you feeling physically now performing in the ring? Can you still do 100% of what you could do?
100%.
90?
I would at least 90. Yeah, I'm just thinking. There's a lot of moves that I cut out years ago just because they weren't worth the risk, like jumping from the top rope to the crowd. But yeah, I usually can do everything. I stretch and go through my stretch, and I hit all my positions and get into my self inner mode and go out there and but sometimes it does hurt a lot though. I had bruised ribs and at the same time my back was hurting me and like everything out there hurt, but I was still out there taking the bumps and it just hurt like really bad. And that's only been probably like the last 12-15 TV tapings that I felt. Yeah, it hurts.
Dude, sometimes like when I watch your style, you think, man, this guy's a pain machine. I mean, he can dish out a lot of pain, but he can take a lot of pain. But you're also a real cerebral guy, which a lot of people don't get a chance to see that. I mean, so what's your process before, whether it was at your peak or in the present with Impact? Like, what is your mindset when you go to the ring? What are you thinking of? I mean, because I have my thing. It didn't take me. I don't snap into I just turn into Stone Cold. But I'm just thinking of the task at hand. Like, what's your approach?
Well, there's a big energy change as soon as you go through that curtain. Yeah. So when you're inside and I'm doing jumping jacks, maybe a couple of push-ups, try to keep my blood circulating. That's that I'm ready and I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a lot of energy from the fans. It used to be, a lot of cheers. Now that I'm a heel, I'm hoping for reaction, either way. But, you made being a heel cool. So, it's.
I wasn't trying to. I was trying to be the most hated motherfucker that there was. Yeah. Turned out to be kind of cool. But I took pride. If I was trying to be a baby, I wanted to be loved. If I was a heel, I wanted to be hated. Yeah. I mean, it was black and white, and I kind of created a gray area, but it was never a goal.
Yeah.
But it kind of changed things. Well, when Hall and Nash went down to WCW, when they came up with the NWO, I mean, they kind of made being bad and sleazy, and, they were cool.
There was a lot of NWO shirts around. The shirts still are.
The Steve Austin Show. The Steve Austin Show.
Hey, man, do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. If you purchase supplies for a small to mid-sized business, Zorro.com, Zoro.com is your go-to resource. At Zorro, you'll find all the things that keep a business running, no matter what kind of business you're in. Zorro offers tools, safety equipment, cleaning and maintenance supplies, office and shipping, automotive, industrial equipment, and more, including specialty items you can't find anywhere else. Whether you're shopping for an office, factory, contracting business, or machine shop, you can get exactly what you need. And when you shop at Zorro, you'll find brands you already know and trust. Brands like 3M, Prestone, Milwaukee Tool, Schneider Electric, and Proto, all at competitive prices. You want free, fast shipping? It's yours when you spend $50 or more. And if you have a question, a return, or need help finding exactly the right item, count on Zorro's customer service team right here in the U.S. Visit Zorro.com/Austin. That's Zorro.com/Austin. And sign up for Z-Mail to get 15% off your first order. Zorro.com. All you need to make your business go.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
Hey, man, when you guys started filming this documentary, you know, you were talking about slowing down a little bit on the wrestling schedule, which you are, but you're still active.
Yeah,
but then
Impacts. No,
dude, I never knew that you were doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah, why would you? You know.
I love when you do this. Yeah, I know that you were a big fan of stand-up when you was a kid, though.
Yes.
So this has always been a kind of something that
I always liked it, and then I guess the part of me that wanted to be an entertainer / performer, whatever, knew that I wanted to and would someday get up and do it. But I thought maybe open mic night or something. I didn't know I was ever going to be famous. I just knew that I wanted to get up there and write material, because I like that part, and then get up there and deliver it, you know. And so I planned on doing that, but instead, you know, I got a much bigger invite because I was already RVD, and then and I enjoy it, you know. I like it. It's not a big thing, and I don't do like huge venues, as you can see, you know, in the documentary. It's like being back on the road when I do those tours. It's like being back on the road, you know, doing indies. We would drive for hours and stuff, and my manager Tom Garland would drive me around, and you know, it was fun. I'm not going to do probably those tours anymore, but it's something that I enjoy. But it's ultimately, you know, like I thought when I moved to Vegas, because we were working on a couple deals where I would do something regular, you know, Stratosphere is one of them. I was going to maybe do it like every night there, at least 4 nights a week or something. But when it really came down to it, I really don't want to leave home. Isn't comfort ultimately king?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you beat comfort?
Where is Battle Creek, Michigan, geographically in the state of Michigan? How far from Detroit, or what's it by?
It's 2 hours west of Detroit. Kalamazoo is very close to it. People know Kalamazoo.
Okay, now how big of a town or city is Battle Creek?
Not very big. I think maybe like 50,000 in the actual city.
Okay, that's pretty good size.
Yeah.
Okay, back then when you were a kid coming up, who were some of the comedians that really caught your eye and you dug and thought were funny or entertaining?
My favorite was, well, first off, when I was really young, I remember watching Bob Newhart, and I just, you know, I love his dry sense of humor and his delivery. You know, I just thought he was funny. And then Stephen Wright, who's still around. Stephen Wright was my favorite for a long time. I just thought all his jokes were, you know, it's what comedians call intelligent humor, because maybe it's not for maybe not everyone's going to get it, but it's
I dug
brilliant.
Him because he had those HBO specials way back in the day. He was one of the first guys, and I enjoyed his sense of humor.
Yeah. He says, I bought evaporated water, but I didn't know what to add. But anyway, and then also, but I didn't know him. I didn't ever. This guy, I get compared to him a lot, which I think is an honor because I love this guy's sense of humor, Mitch Hedberg. But Mitch Hedberg, yeah, you know who that is?
Huge Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he died before I ever knew of him.
Yeah.
But I feel like we would have been friends.
Well, yeah, I caught him on YouTube as well. I mean, obviously passed before I got into him as well. But I mean, that guy, and the thing about him was, a big part of his humor, first of all, was phenomenal, but it was so random.
Yeah.
And his cadence and his delivery and kind of the pitch in his voice is one of the big things to me that just makes him funny. The way he said stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you feeling on stage? Because, Mitch, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm speaking of the Dead. I'm a huge fan, but I think he was kind of a little bit into the heroin scene.
Yeah.
So, he just seemed so nervous and fidgety on stage at different times. And maybe it was a ride. I don't know. But when you get out there,
you'd have the microphone and do like this.
Yeah. Sometimes he was just a little shaky.
Yeah.
He might have a little drink or something. But when you take the stage, what's it like compared to going out and say, you've wrestled in 1 million towns for 1 million years?
It's so much easier than wrestling because there's nothing on the line. I feel like there's almost absolutely nothing on the line. Like the worst thing that could happen would be that they don't get my jokes. And I'm not going to say anything unless I know it's funny. You know what I mean? So even if they're wrong, I know that's funny. I'm going to save it for saying it again. But I've always done really good too. They say you got to like really bomb to be a comedian and start out low. I don't know. I don't do anything traditionally because I was already RVD. It was like 2006 or 7 when I went up on stage for the first time because I was invited to, and first just made fun of the other comedians, and that was like all I had. But I enjoy the process of writing it. Like sometimes I'll write down ideas and think I'm going to develop that later, and I don't want to not go up, but like right now, it's when I'm out of town, it's easy to be like, yeah, you know what, maybe Thursday I'll get up on stage, and it is that easy in Las Vegas because there's so many places and I can do that. But then chances are Thursday I'm going to be home and going like, oh, you want to go lay down, Katie? Except for I don't call her that, I call her baby.
So what's a writing session for you? Like you say, hey man, I'm gonna put an hour into this. I'm gonna put 6 hours into this. What's the process?
It's visualizing very much like a match, not necessarily thinking of a whole story, but connecting it so that I can remember it in such a way, like okay, when I first get up there, I'm going to talk about what it's like for me being on stage and what their expectations are, and then I'm going to compare it to some comedians that I know, and then I'll like connect, I'll try to connect it, and talk about alcohol. Let's see all the jokes I have about alcohol. I'm going to try and run through them, and then maybe I'll run through the marijuana jokes and stuff, and then I got that one that transitions into driving drunk, and hey, we'll talk about cars. What about, that's like that. And then I only like write have a writing session where I sit down like that, like before because I do want to have it fresh on my mind because I never prepare because I'm horrible like that, and I'm very sorry I'm late today, and that's I'm running late today because I'm always late. It seems like mostly, but I was at B Reels and that took a long time, and we were doing a smoke box. Yeah.
What's a smoke box?
We're in the car, and he's interviewing you while you're smoking.
Oh, is it like a show or a podcast?
Yeah, it's his podcast. That's a video podcast, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I never smoked on camera before, so that was a big deal for me because before, just as a personal choice, I didn't want that used against me. The Nancy Graces saying, my kids are playing with your action figure, and you're smoking dope on TV, so I didn't want that. And then now I think it's time. I think people are looking at marijuana. It's legal. I'm not even doing anything, breaking the law. It's legal to do that here, and people watching it and somewhere else might not know what that's like, but it's time.
Where do people find B Reels YouTube channel or whatever it is?
It's called Smokebox, so I just looked it up under that. Be Real Smokebox, and that's how I found it.
So what are you guys smoking? Because back in the day, because I'm a little bit older than you, but they didn't have no indica, they didn't have no sativa. It was all about it might be skunk, weed, and that was it. Or marijuana, let's call it.
Yeah.
But you didn't have no choices. So now, being here in Los Angeles and Nevada just made it legal, correct?
Recently, yeah.
Recently. So my point is, what is your preference?
As far as the different kind of strain?
Yeah, because like I said, back in the day, you're just buying a bag, and it was going to be whatever it was.
Right.
If you can pick a strain, which strain are you picking?
I'm actually coming out with my own strain, by the way, which I'll be debuting very, very soon on a special holiday, special stoner holiday. But I started a CBD line, and as a branch off of that in the legal states where licensed, I'll have some THC products as well.
Are you working on that in Cali or Nevada? Because don't you live in Vegas now?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah. So I just started like this CBD line, and which has a lot to do with the movie and concussions, because my main drive is, I want to find whatever it is that they're talking about CBG being able to regenerate dead brain tissue. That sounds pretty good to me, and I'm reading like NFL is going to supposedly do this, and I figured they have a lot more red tape than I do. I don't know. I got some partners that already have a CBD company, and as an offshoot, now we have RVD CBD, and they already have the labs, the fields, scientists who formulate it. And I have two products, but already everyone, we're going to expand because we're signing contracts for different products, vape pens, gummies, sports drinks, etc. But it looks like it looks really good, like it's really going to explode, and it's good because I know it's going to help a lot of people.
Hey man, you ever spend any time in Vancouver?
Yes.
Man, for some reason, you tell me, because they grow some killer stuff up there.
Yeah.
And I only know because I used to make a couple low-budget movies up there, and if I had someone coming in or whatever, and that was their thing, well, I would make sure that they could find some.
Yeah.
This is back in the day, but they have a little different stance on it up there.
Did you guys have to go to the park on Hastings?
I can't.
Oh, you don't know?
No, I don't know. I just had a connection up there. I'll leave it at that. But word on the street was they had some extremely potent stuff up there, and now maybe the stuff down here is caught up.
Yes.
What's the scene? What's the good market?
So I don't think that I ever am going to find any flower that's better than California or Colorado. Both of them just like, bam, they have marijuana that has like 30% THC and above, even a little bit above. That's unheard of before, back in the day.
When did you start smoking?
My 21st birthday in Jamaica. Peer pressure from the boys. Jimmy Backlund, Jiggle Jimmy Backlund, Mark Starr, Coconut Kid. These guys were, I didn't know I was sitting in rotation by accident, by default. And it was like, hit it, you prima donna. It's not going to kill you. Hit it. 21st birthday, yeah.
How did it make you feel? Because it affects everybody differently.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that my first experience was a pleasant one, because I remember just staring at the wall and then feeling really conscious about it. Like, why am I staring at the wall? Like, fuck, they're going to make fun of me. They're going to notice. I should turn my head and look at the TV. What the fuck? And then Ron Slaker was like, you all right, kid? I'm like, huh?
Man, back in the day when I was on the road, inevitably you're going to come around with someone who's got some, and I'm a alcohol guy. I love my spirits. Yeah. So that was kind of the way I went. And then the few times that I did partake in that endeavor, and I partook in many other endeavors, but I just wasn't really a THC guy.
Right on.
And like when I would hit that stuff, man, it would just make me, it would slow me down to the point where I would say something and I would think, man, did that sound dumb?
Yeah.
Or if someone would cut a joke, I'd be like, like processing it. And okay, I might giggle or I might not. But then there was one time when I was riding with a Hall of Famer and we stopped through a Burger King drive-in and we got the famous giggles.
Yeah.
And we sat there at the damn ordering speaker for like 8 minutes, man. I'm just laughing our asses. We never even got the hamburgers. We finally just took off. And it was great. This Saturday is the boxing pay-per-view event of the decade. The long-awaited rematch of heavyweight titans is set as undefeated WBC champion Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder and unbeaten lineal champion Tyson the Gypsy King Fury continue their rivalry on Saturday, February 22nd, live from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas and on pay-per-view. Wilder vs. Fury 2 has been highly anticipated since their first meeting in December of 2018 when Wilder retained his title via split draw after Fury miraculously rose from a 12th round knockdown to finish the fight. One of the most memorable moments in heavyweight history and has raised the historical stakes heading into the rematch. Tyson Fury's strong performance against Wilder even earned him Comeback of the Year, but Deontay Wilder, the most feared single-punch knockout artist in boxing today and current longest-reigning heavyweight world champion, has held his title since January 2015, making this Saturday the 11th defense of his heavyweight title. Easily one of the most anticipated rematches boxing has ever witnessed, and I will be watching. Don't miss an historic night live from Las Vegas, Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. Buy it now on pay-per-view. Back in the, I just got finished. My dad sent me this article from this small town that, my parents, my dad still lives in, where I went to high school at. And there was a stripper. There's two really famous people that came out of Edna, Texas. A stripper named Candy Barr, 2 R's, and a guy named Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Candy Barr got popped with about maybe an ounce, almost an ounce of marijuana. They put her in for 15 years. This is way back in the days. I think it was 50s or.
What city is this?
Just the town I grew up in, 5,000 people in South Texas. Back in the day, 15 years for an ounce.
Right. Oh my God.
Put that in perspective.
Wow.
That's pretty heavy, dude.
Yeah.
Someone ended up pardoning her a couple of years later, but that's how weird it was back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, Texas is dragging their feet on it, of course, but we're real close to having it legalized. I always knew it would be. That's why I always advocated and tried to educate people, because that's what it is. We were purposely miseducated, and there's really no denying it. That's why the movie Reefer Madness is so funny, but
yeah.
There's a lot of facts. Like if people knew that it's still a Schedule I controlled substance, the most dangerous, and that cocaine and meth are Schedule II. If people knew that, maybe they would care. I don't know. Maybe they would. Hey, let me say this though. While I'm thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
Because you said that THC wasn't for you, but so marijuana's been around forever, and THC is what it was always about. And then CBD just came up like in the last few years, right? And then now we're looking at CBGs, we're looking at CBNs, and we still only know like maybe 5 or 6 cannabinoids out of like 100 that the marijuana plant has. And that's because we're not allowed to study it, but where it's legal and compliant in certain states, people are doing their studies. I think they call them clinical studies, but it's still illegal by the federal guidelines because they still say it's non-medicinal, since Richard Nixon said that in 1970. That's their position, still now non-medicinal, the most dangerous drug. So I think if everyone knew that it would have to change, because everyone is everyone, But we have like 33 states, I think, that have medicinal programs, and Washington, D.C., and I think 37. I was always told by Rob Campia from the Marijuana Policy Project, he always told me that when you have 2/3 of the states, that mandates a federal change. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he said that was precedented by sodomy. back in the day, and in 37 states, so we're almost there. And we have like 11 or so recreational, but I forget that it's not as accepted other places because I've been in the culture for so many years.
Man, what is your preferred method to intake?
I prefer the flower, and I prefer it rolled up in a raw or an RVD. Hey, we have RVD papers for him in the car.
Yeah.
I forgot. I have RVD rolling papers for you. Yeah. I prefer it rolled up, and I prefer raw. And my papers are the same as raw because they're unbleached. I've been spoiled for so long that, like, if somebody rolls one up with a, Easy White or something, and it's that thick white paper, the joint tastes nasty to me because I just taste the paper. So the thin, unbleached papers are the best, and that's what I prefer. Even though it's safer to maybe go through a bong or whatever, or water or whatever, maybe, but.
Are you into the edibles at all?
Very little. Like I'll eat them sometimes, but I don't really enjoy them that much. And I don't remember times when I'm just eating it to give it a fair trial. But usually the edibles are sweet. They're covered in sugar. That's my problem with it. If it was like healthy food that was edibles, I was, thinking about maybe someday looking into that.
Come on, man, 2 grams of sugar in an edible ain't gonna kill your waistline, right?
No, it's like it's like gummies that were rolled in sugar. It's always candy.
Yeah.
All right. Also, now there's with the CBDs and all this, there's even more of a variety, and you can expect a different effect. Like the CBDs is like THC is tetrahydrocannabinol, CBD cannabidiol. They're both equal components, just 2 out of, like I said, nearly 100. But the CBD has a lot of effects without getting you high. So it won't get you high. If you don't want to get high, you got no THC, but you can also mix it depending on, you can have it THC dominant or CBD dominant. You can grow your plants that way now, either way that you want it. But the CBD by itself, like a product I gave you, that's a muscle cream. 3,000 milligrams is like double what most people have for CBDs. And it's, as I was telling you, the menthol, immediately you feel it because you don't feel other people's, and you can get like a different effect. So some people like they don't, I don't know, it helps with, let's say, like anxieties, something like that. They can smoke a joint that's just completely CBDs, has no THC at all, and it'll straighten their mind out. In fact, CBDs are good at bringing you down if you get too high from THC. So in the plant, they balance each other off completely. And a CBG is a precursor to that, like a stem cell. It becomes a THC or a CBD, and now we're using that, and that one seems to be really strong. And like I said, it has a lot of neurological protecting factors to it, and I'm all for it because I took a lot of chair shots, and even though my scans said I'm good, I don't know that later in life, when you add age or some factors, who knows what, to it, I don't want to lose my brain. It's the only one I got.
They're selling CBGs now?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a pen that has CBN in it too, but CBGs, absolutely.
Do you feel anything from it? Or do you feel less pain from it?
No. Sometimes I take CBG tinctures. And I get them from a place called Steve's Goods in Denver. And I took it hoping, that if there is any brain damage up there, that it would help clear it up. I take a lot of products when I see that. It says a brain pill. Hey, I'll try it if I haven't tried it. A lot of things like that I'm interested in because not only for me, but as I say, for my peers, which now I think maybe it's just the ACW guys, but anybody who gets concussions. Because and if you get the right ingredient, and it probably takes a lifestyle change too, not just a pill, but if you get the right formula, say it's CBG, and it's combined with something, I don't know, and say like it really works on Tommy Dreamer and on Sabu, then also we're talking about being able to help people with Alzheimer's and dementia, and then maybe even just depression, which really is the root of a lot of our friends' deaths.
Average 8 hours of sleep per night? Check. Eat a quality plant-based diet? Check. Exercise 4 or more times per week? Check. Basically, you're doing everything right to ensure you live a long life. Isn't it time you be financially rewarded for your commitment to a healthy lifestyle? Introducing Health IQ. Health IQ uses science and data to secure lower rates for people like you on their life insurance. If you're a runner or a cyclist, or if you're into CrossFit or another type of athlete, even a committed weekend warrior. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, then you deserve to be rewarded for your hard work with more affordable life insurance rates. Health IQ can save you up to 41% because physically active people have significantly lower risk for heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. And Health IQ is not just a lead generator. They take the customer through the entire process of applying, and the policy is underwritten by one of our top insurance partners. But these savings are exclusive to Health IQ. You won't find them anywhere else, and you must qualify to get a special rate. To see if you qualify, go to healthiq.com/Steve to take the proprietary Health IQ quiz. Depending upon your score, as well as other related qualifying factors, you can save up to 41% on your life insurance premiums compared to other providers. Again, that's healthiq.com/Steve to let them know we sent you and start the process with the Health IQ quiz. There's no commitment, and you'll learn even more about potential opportunities to be rewarded for your commitment to living healthy. One more time, that's healthiq.com/Steve. Bringing it back to you and your brain, what are you doing now? I mean, because you just mentioned some of the brain formulas. And man, I'll take like take an Alpha Brain before I talk to you, or like I'll take an Alpha Brain when I'm having my 2 cups of coffee in the morning. They help me wake up. I always say it's like WD-40 for the brain. It helps me think a little bit better for a shoot.
Yeah,
I mean, as far as
I take those.
Okay, so
because Joe Rogan recommended it, someone told me. So yeah.
So if are you doing any kind of? I just signed up for a Lumosity app on my little iPhone. I play games, you track stuff and stuff like that. Because my memory,
I don't know what it is.
I'll show you once we hang up.
Okay.
I got it from DDP. It's something that you can just put on your phone and play for free.
Awesome.
But is there any kind of what else are you doing to try to protect your cognitive function? What goes on going forward? Well, care of your brain.
Well, I don't think I'm going to wrestle that much longer, but, I felt like that for a while. But, man, I watched a match that I had, was it in Mexico with Brian Cage? Anyway, I did what I call the Van Terminator, which Shane McMahon took and calls Coast to Coast, right?
Yep.
And, man, I watched my head bounce off the mat so hard on that footage, and I was like, I never noticed. Like, does it always do that? That can't be good for me. And I'd already had a concussion because Cage kneed me in the head really hard at the beginning of the match, so I was loopy, and I only remember the matches like in little clips. So I'd like to think that I'm doing well, but really I could do better as far as taking care of my head because I'm still wrestling. So there's still a chance that something's going to happen. I mean, I'm trying to consciously protect my head over feeding my head into damage, and like I said, like these supplements that I'm looking at, and I'm open to learning new things. Last week, I took 3 days of this red light treatment. Have you heard of that? It's just like a tanning bed, but it was red light, and it's supposed to like cure like everything. And it's supposed to be good for your brain and your whole body. And it's something that's the guy was telling me that a lot of celebrities like Brad Pitt and he said own them at their houses, because I was asking him like, is that like a residential model? And he said it was like $140,000. But I think I might keep going. I don't know if I've felt better from that, but I definitely do feel better. I've had some days where my body didn't feel that good. The last 3, I got to say, I'm optimistic again, because I got the stem cell thing in September, and 221 million stem cells put in my body, in this wrist, this shoulder, my whole, from my whole neck down to my tailbone, intravenously, and in my spinal fluid to go up to my brain. And facial and hair rejuvenation. So tons of that. But for 7 weeks, I wasn't really feeling that much. And I was thinking, like, maybe it's not going to work on me. And then I got laser therapy along with some kind of light therapy, oxygen therapy. But it was like 2 long days of Ron. Well, he probably doesn't want me to tell him anyway. But all of a sudden, like, I felt like 90% better. And I didn't have any sitting pain anymore. Like, if I was stretching or lifting, I would hurt. But the rest of the day, I was like, wow, I'm standing fine. And that lasted like 5 weeks, and went dipped down again. And I did this light therapy, and I'm feeling good. So I think it might be a factor.
Where did you go for the stem cell?
To Medellin.
You went down to Colombia.
So, yeah. Yeah,
I got literature from those guys.
Yeah, because a bunch of the boys went down there. Yeah, Ryback said it changed his life. They couldn't lift his shoulder, and after going down there and having one treatment, he said his vision was better, which was just a weird side effect. And he said he could move his shoulder around. He was motivated to get back into the scene and everything. And I was like, shit, all right, they can call me.
What is the red light therapy you speak of? I mean, because you're describing it, I'm thinking about a tanning bed.
Yeah, it looks like a tanning bed, but it's red lights. There's also like handheld ones and other forms of it. This one is really cool, though. I laid it for like.
What did it do for you? What did it make you feel like?
It felt like I was tanning. Like I felt like I should have been tanned when I got out. But it's supposed to be a better anti-inflammatory than anything that you can consume, and it makes its way through your body. It's even good for your eyes. It goes through your eyelids. And the guy that works there is a great salesman, because he was saying that his dog his dog was really old and I think hurt his leg or something, and he said he used the red light on his dog and healed his dog like in a few weeks. And I don't know, it's something somebody else recommended for me, just like the cryotherapy. I'm open to different things, because sometimes I feel the damage of all the years that I've, especially my back. My back is I should have. Headstrong 2 will show X-rays of my back.
I mean, you're still going currently now, but when did you start?
I started schooling in '89. Had my first matches in '90.
It's 20 years.
30.
30.
Yeah, 30 years.
But didn't have too many steel chairs. That's 30 years. Trim that out. 30 years. Hey, that's 30 years. I'm leaving it in.
It is indeed. Yeah.
Do you never broke any bones in your back? No fusion, no nothing.
No. But I've been a hospital candidate, since probably 2010. I have a lot of erosion and arthritis and bulging and compressed discs and. Fine. I heard last week. I heard that my spinal cord is almost touching my spine. I guess that's bad. I don't really know that much about that, but usually my back, is at least like really tight. It's very rare that I just feel like, wow, I don't feel my back at all today. Do you have days like where you don't even feel it, or is it always like kind of tight when you bend down, or?
Well, I'm just not flexible to begin with. You're the guy that stretches like crazy. I'm the guy that talked to you about stretching many years ago and never really dove into it. So I'm stiff to begin with. But on a pain level, man, a 1 would be a high number for me. But 3-4 fusion. I've got nerve damage. I have many issues, but pain is not necessarily one of them. But I do have mileage and issues.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different style and different, depending on what height and weight you are. I think the longer guys, taller guys, heavier guys absorb more punishment than more compact guys, but damage is damage. Certainly some of the stuff you've done is personified.
True enough.
So tell people about your doc and deliver a final message because they're giving us the go-home cue.
Cool. Yeah, so Headstrong on Amazon. It's a really personal documentary that I actually want people to see because I want to move forward with talking about concussions, and that's how we're going to find out what to do about them and the damage. So that's why you should see my movie, and find me at The Real RVD on all of social media. And also follow RVD CBD on Instagram. We need more followers there, and they post way more than I do. Yeah.
Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, Katie Forbes.
Yeah.
Katie Forbes, where we find you?
Follow me everywhere on the Katie Forbes.
And that's KATIEFORBES.
Yes.
Katie Forbes.
Katie
And that's the
Forbes.
bottom line.
Dude, so our character. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna tell you, like our character. You asked what her character. She said an info. Like you'd be trying to interview us, and we would just be like, like making out. That's what we've been doing lately, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
It sounds fun.
Yeah.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
I'm retired.
Access TV. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank RVD, Rob Van Dam, for swinging by the crib and shooting the breeze about his new documentary, Headstrong. Check it out at all the places he says to check it out. Very interesting stuff. Don't forget to rate and review The Steve Austin Show on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends to check us out. If you want to reach me here on the podcast, send an email to questions@steveaustinshow.com, and that's the bottom line. Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for all the support of Broken Skull IPA, my beer that I brewed with El Segundo Brewing Company. We are in 17 states here in the United States of America right now. And if you go to my Instagram account, you can find out where all of these locations are. Better yet, go to the ElSegundoBrewingCompany.com website and click on the interactive map where it says Broken Skull IPA, and you can find out the location nearest you that you can buy the best IPA in America. We're all over Cali. We're in Whole Foods and Total Wines, but thank you for the support of this badass IPA. It's a beer that I am extremely proud of, and it's a beer that I drink exclusively because it is that damn good. Hey, don't forget, King of Attitude and Broken Skull Ranch t-shirts are available at ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. And I think every person should have a pocket knife just for opening envelopes, cutting a piece of rope, whatever you need it for. Maybe it's protection. Cold steel Broken Skull knife, cold steel working man's knife. Get them at my Amazon store. Amazon has the best price on both knives. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin or go to the Cold Steel Knives website and check out all of their badass knives. I want to say thank you one more time to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially Geico, ZipRecruiter, Raycon, Zorro, Health IQ, and BetOnline. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. If you need more info, check out the show description to this episode for details. Folks, if you see me riding in the woods, you will see me riding a badass Kawasaki, and that's the bottom line. Until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
The Adam Carolla Show is the #1 daily downloaded podcast in the world, and you've got to check it out. Catch up with some of Adam's latest interview featuring James Carville, Pauly Shore, and Rob Hubel. Adam's bringing you his daily rants, antics, and musings with a side of comedy. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Podcast One, Apple Podcast, and many other podcast apps so you can get new episodes every week.